What's up? Welcome to another episode of the Tina Parker Show. Happy Saturday. We are talking today about stop using your children as an excuse. Before I get started, have you ever heard the term love ain't lies? Okay. Think of it like this. Let's say you have a burger in your nose. Okay. And would you want your friend would tell you the truth, right? Or would you like to walk around with the damn burger in your nose? All right? Or maybe you have a mustache on your face because you know, it could be different reasons. Maybe you had some, hot chocolate. It's giving you a mustache. Maybe you actually have a mustache and your friend would say, "Girl, you need to wax that shiz." Okay? That's love ain't lies, all right? Your friends, your real friends are going to tell you the truth. Well, keep that in mind as we go through this episode. This is a good one, and this is for all you moms that use your children as an excuse. And I'm going to dive into that, okay? I know this is going to sting a little, all right? But it's said with love, honestly. Not judgment. I'm not judging you, okay? I became a young mom. I got pregnant at 16, had my daughter by 17. I didn't have a husband paying the bills. There was no team helping me juggle it all. I did have my mom and my sister help me a little bit. I went to work when my daughter was 2 months old, and I'm so grateful that I had their help. I went part-time, in the beginning because they didn't have a full-time opening. So I started in retail as a part-timer. And then as soon as, full-time position opened up, I was right in there getting the full-time. And there came a time, I think my daughter was about 6 months old, maybe 4 months old. And my mom said, "I can't keep watching her, you know?" And so I went and put her in a daycare. I found a daycare and I put her in a daycare. So there was no one to help me. My mom was like, "You're on your own." Well, I was grateful that she kind of helped me when she was young, but it was true. I had to put her in a daycare very early, and I did feel a little bit of guilt, but I worked, I showed up, I built because I had to, and I was in the retail space at the time. It didn't break my daughter. That's, something I had to remind my daughter. I had this conversation with her because, she is a stay-at-home mom. She's always been a stay-at-home mom, but she took a technology, a nails, and she went to hair school, and, so she does work from home. So she found out a way that she could work from home with her kids there. But a lot of women don't do that, and they just maybe live on the government, or they decide to struggle, whatever it is, because they feel like they have to be with their children 24/7. And even men, you might not do more to get out of your 9 to 5 because you feel like, I have to be with my kids when I'm at home or whatever. You know what I mean? But I want you to know that your kids really don't need all your time. You can spend a few hours of quality time with them, even, 30 minutes of quality time, or even, I'm going to get into the different options. I want to expand your brain. Okay. That's my goal here. So, I told her the other day, I'm like, you went to daycare and you turned out fabulous. You turned out great. So it wasn't horrible. She didn't, I believe it built her into a leader by showing her what responsibility looks like. She had structure in her life. I got up every morning, I got ready, I got her ready, and we had a routine, and that's taught her a lot. And she grew up to become, a leader in school, a leader in everything. Like, she was just and I believe it was, all of her experiences and adapting to new environments and new people and all of that. I'm not saying you have to put your kid in daycare. Okay. This was a long time ago, before people were building businesses with their kids. But today I want to talk to the parents, especially the moms who say, I can't build my dream right now because of my kids. You build because of them. That's the truth, okay? The lie we were sold. Society taught women that being a good mom means being glued to your kids 24/7. That's not good parenting. That's martyrdom. Do you know what that means? I'm going to tell you. Um, it's like suffering a death, okay? And denying your own needs or any action um, to become great, you know? I'll give you, let's see, let's find the meaning. The meaning of martyrdom. The suffering of death on account of adherence to a cause, and especially to one's, could be religious faith, it could be your belief. Maybe you know, it's like torture. Why would you want to be broke? Why would you want that for your kids? You know, your kids are watching you. All right, I just wanted to give you an idea of what that means. Our children don't need us to hold their hand every hour. They need to watch us build, to lead, to rise. They learn who they can become by watching who we, as parents, refuse to stop being. You can't raise leaders by living like a victim. Victim is saying, I can't build this business because of my kids. I'm a mom. I have 6 kids. I have, you know what I mean? I'm a single mom. That you can't use that because there's ways that you can build a business. Like get out from being stuck. You hear me? All right. Here's what my daughter learned. She went to daycare as an infant, you know, and there were days I did feel guilty, but she thrived. Okay, she turned out awesome. She became student body president in the 7th grade. She did a campaign and all of that. All right. So it must have not been so bad. She learned how to make friends, how to communicate, how to handle leadership and structure, how to trust herself. She didn't grow up neglected. She grew up prepared because I showed her that love isn't codependence, it's legacy. I also, you know, my son went to daycare, and then later when he was a little bit older, like middle school, he started helping in business, you know, in my business. I would have, when I was on the road and I needed to send a quote to someone, you know, I had a client message me or whatever, and I was driving. I had my son, I taught him how to pull quotes for me. I had him doing it in the passenger seat. I mean, I started building business with him there. And that honestly, you don't want to protect your children from responsibility. You don't want to show them how to stay broke. You don't want to show them how to not strive for more, you know, and find a way. I prepared her and my son, you know, I showed, you know, what it looks like. Here's the modern, everything has changed. So I want to make sure to share this with you. Like, I don't think you have to send your kids to school. Okay. Sometimes I think that's really a waste of time because you can teach a lot in living life. You know what I mean? I failed in school, but I learned a lot of great life skills outside of the school system. Okay. There's people with massive degrees. You know what I mean? Like, but they don't understand common sense things. Sorry if that's you, but it's true. Like, you feel like you have to follow everything by the book. You listen to what leaders say and you go, okay, that's what I have to do. They never taught you how to critically think. I had to critically think out on the streets. You know what I mean? In real life scenarios. Now we live in a time where you can build a business from your phone, your laptop, your living room. You can literally make your children part of your brand. Isn't that amazing? You guys probably, if you've watched me for any amount of time, you can see, like, I'll do, content with the kids, with my grandkids. Like I said, I used to have my son help me with quotes, texting back a client. I'd tell him what to say. I involved my kids. Then, even at the car dealership, my husband helped take pictures of the inventory in the lot. Even taught him how to upload them to the website. There's so much that you can teach your kids to do that's so valuable. So bring them in. You can literally make your children part of your brand. And I believe everyone needs a brand. Okay? We're in a new time. You're going to lose your job if you don't. You might lose your job, but you got to have some other skills. You got to have a brand. Let them package boxes, sit on team calls, record TikToks with you, or run your Shopify or stand store links. Teach them early that money is created by creativity and consistency, not by waiting for permission. Okay? Your kids don't need protection from your grind. They need proximity to your greatness. Remember that. Okay? How great are you when you're sitting on the couch all day just watching TV? We need money in this world, folks. I'll tell you what. Life gets better. It circulates. You want more money, okay? It's not evil. And why people would choose to not try to create more for themselves, I don't get it. I can't wrap my head around that. Okay, here's a mindset shift. When you say, I can't do it because of my kids, what you're really saying is, I don't want to make them uncomfortable. All right. Sometimes parents don't want to put them in a daycare or, do something like that because it might make the kids feel uncomfortable. Y'all, your kids are going to grow up to deal with a lot of life shiz. All right. And you want them to be able to adapt to uncomfortable situations. Don't coddle them. Okay. Life will make them uncomfortable. The difference is whether they'll know how to adapt. That's what I said, right? Every time your kids see you getting up early, managing emotions, handling business with integrity, you're wiring leadership in their nervous system. Remember this too. You're not just raising children, you're raising future adults. Show them how adults move. Boom. Right? Sometimes we don't even think about those things, but that's what it is. Okay, let's connect faith and your legacy together. God, Yahweh, the Creator, He gave you children. He didn't give you children to hold you back. He gave you witnesses to your becoming. They're watching you fight through challenges, different seasons in your life, not to judge you, but they want to model how you face theirs one day. They want to remember what did my mom or dad do during these times of challenges? Your obedience becomes their inheritance. In closing, I'm going to give you a little call to action. And y'all, share this with someone that you think needs to hear this. You have a mother out there, or a friend, sister, that is making excuses to stay broke, making excuses to be dependent in a toxic relationship, making excuses to be dependent on the government or any system for that matter. Okay? They need to hear this message. All right? So stop saying you can't build a business because of your kids. Start building for them, with them, and through them. You don't have to do it perfectly. You just do it publicly enough that they can see it's possible. Here's some challenges, things that you can do, okay? Record your kids helping with your business this week. Post it, tag it. Put legacy builders, faith-fueled fire. Show them that the family that builds together breaks cycles together. I'm telling you, it's a game changer. they'll start to have fun with it. They'll learn how to build business. They'll know it's important to build business. And you're showing them how to work through difficult times. And when they grow up, they're going to be little badasses. You know what I'm saying? All right. Hey, don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate you for joining. And have an incredible Saturday.